All right, I'm recording. All right, multiply that number by 12. Put it into the chat. Let's have it on record. How much are you projecting for the year? So what we're doing right now is we're getting this idea of how hard we have to work or continue to work, right? Now, this is false, correct? Because you're going to have feast and famine, right? And even in the same, in a company, or a company is going to have a really high period and a really low period, right? Okay. All right. So, all right, Patrick, go ahead and put that not private. Okay. So everybody take a look at everybody else's numbers. Can you keep up this pace? Right? Can you find enough work to keep up this pace? And these are very good questions to ask. Now, Colin, I just want to be employed somewhere. I don't want to do this. I don't want to start my own company. I just want to be an employee. How does this help me being an employee? Because you will have a better idea of the financial health of a company. Okay, all right, everybody look at me right now. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes right now. Stare at me, right? If you're surprised that layoffs are happening, you're not doing your job. Well, Colin, that's just mean. I need you to be aware about the financial health of a company. You cannot just sit back at the warmth of your computer and do work and not realize how well your company is or is not doing. Because if layoffs happen, that should not be a surprise. Let that sink in. This is what we're practicing right now. Okay. I know this topic is tough in the current climate, in the current situation, but it doesn't change, right? Even prior to all this, this was the exact same lecture you were getting. Okay, now it's a little bit more apparent because under a contract, right now what we have is an act of God. That is a quote those are actual words in a contract right now, right? We have a situation that is an act of God, right? And it's changing the landscape. And we need to adjust for that. Okay. The best we can. Okay. All right, so I'm a little concerned. Okay, we have a class that's very much split in terms of our poll. I'm a little concerned as only a few of us have put numbers into this. So I don't know what to do, y'all. Because normally I would just walk around and your screens to take a look at all your billing and your timesheets, right? And see where just walk around the room. It's like, bring up your timesheets. Let's figure this out. Okay. All right, so we have numbers that are very, very high. We have numbers that are average, right? And we have some that are very, very low, right? So Alex, right now you make less than, you're below the poverty line. Right, I believe it's 22,000 for help, right? You know, food stamps, welfare, right? You're below that line. Okay, so you worked pretty hard to be below the poverty line. Objectively, right? Objectively, right? There's a number. Okay. All right, Patrick, you're at 122,000, right? The upcoming weeks, right? You're not going to like lecture, right? One of the things I always say is I will make a Republican out of all of you. Why? Because objectively, subjectively, you can feel however you want about the political parties. And we get this in the taxes. Objectively, one political party wants you to pay less taxes than the other political party. Objectively. Right? So Patrick, let's take your 122, say goodbye to a third of that. Just wave goodbye to it. Now subtract a third from 122. We're going to do that real fast. Okay. All right, Patrick, you think you lost about $40,000. How do you feel?
Start coming.
Good thing you saw it coming. Okay, so 0.033, yeah. Okay,
I guess I got to.
if I did my math right, let's see here, 122. I don't have a times 0.33. Yeah, you lost about $40,000, right? So Patrick has paid more taxes than Alex made. He's paid more taxes than about what Amelia made. Good. We're getting to be professionals. Okay. We got all of this. Okay. And this is all the stuff that we need to get. The worst thing I can do is lie to you about all of this stuff and tell you that, oh, don't worry about it. You know, just let it go. It'll be fine. Right. Or we could say, you know what, let's address it. Let's address it head on and let's deal with these very, what in your parlance, what do they call it? Adulting. These are very adulting topics. We're learning to adult right now. All right, 7 to 5, the 14th, the 13th person did not vote, which makes me think that they're not here today. All right, let's get into the course site and let's do this. All right, we'll talk about all that stuff. Okay, heads up, I've talked about this. We have some sensational topics today. Okay, I know I'm being recorded. I like to use very sensational examples to drive my point home. I like to talk about all ends of the spectrum, the very, very easy to understand and the very extreme ends. And I think by understanding the ends of the spectrum, you can find the objective points. Again, how do we find the objectivity in the subjective? Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about copyright. And this should go quickly. Okay. All right. So why should this go quickly? Because I'm not a copyright lawyer. Get a copyright lawyer if you really want to go down this path. So, before we start this, does anybody have any questions about the last stuff that we discussed or any comments? Good. All right. Taxes, salary, contracts. Okay. Let's do this. Can I do a quick aside story real quick? I was going through my photos and I found the one I took of the class, and they're in the pub. Is it the pub? It's been so long. Is the pub, hub, sub? Which one is it? Yours is the pub. Yeah, the Pentine. All right, yours is the pub. Mine was hub. And my other school was the sub. Anyway, it's all something Unibillion.
Wait, what schools did you go to?
UW and U of I, Idaho. So.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So where are we at with this? And the picture was they were looking down. I was looking down at the class, and I brought them into the pub, and I go present, and I said, "Let's go." They walked in the class. I grabbed everybody. Not physically grab. I said, leave your coats on, grab your bags. I locked up the room. Let's go to the pub. And I go present in front of everybody what you were going to present in front of the class. And it's an overly, right? It's an extreme example, right? But to me, it's like it's barely extreme, right? Because you're gonna have to talk to that many people. You're gonna have to talk to that many strangers in a job interview. You're gonna have to talk about your work. You're gonna have to stand up in front of a whiteboard and talk about your work. You have to stand up in front of a screen and talk about your work. And I want us to get used to talking about things and being comfortable, right? Just tackling things head on. And copyright is one of them. Okay. How can copyright be one of them? So you're going to make stuff, right? What's the short version of this? Okay. Copyright. You're going to make stuff, and I want you to get paid for that stuff that you made. We good? I don't want someone to take your work and repurpose it and resell it. That's it. And if you don't care about that, then you can stop listening on this lecture. Colin, why are you being such a curmudgeon? Why are you being so difficult? because I need you to care more about this than I do. I care. I want y'all to make a typeface someday.
Because you people are in college.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
My son walks up and goes, "Why should you care? Because you people are in college." Yes, that's why you should care.
Solid point.
Okay. I want you to, he's taking a bow. All right, go back to your work. So I want you to make great things. I want you to own those things. I want you to make a typeface someday and not have it pirated. Right? People literally pour their life's work into a typeface. How fast can you crank out a typeface? Not fast at all, right? It takes a long time, right? Years. And I want you to get paid for that. I want you to be photographers. I want you to sell stuff and get paid for that. Okay? I want to make sure that you design an illustration and you get paid for that. So this is why we need to care about this. All right. So Colin, I need a different voice on this. Awesome. There you go. All right. Here are two contracts on Lynda. Two courses on Lynda that you can watch, and they'll walk you through it. Okay. Now, I like to give my own interpretation of this, because if you want the dry, just tell me the terms and tell me what I need to know. It's all right here. Right. Let me expand upon this just a little bit lower. Right. This one is from a lawyer. So if you want it from a lawyer perspective, right. This one is from a creative. You want it from a creative perspective. What is good about these courses is they provide a lot of material. Okay. This one is more about what to do if your copyright is infringed upon. Okay. This one is from all the legal perspective. Right. The lecture that you're going to get today is, why do you need to care? That's what you get from me. Okay. So let's go ahead and take care of these terms, right? We have this terminology of copyright. Okay. Copyright is the easy thing to understand. Ready? You made it, so it's yours. Everyone has copyright. The owner, it has copyright. If you make a thing, you own it. You're good to go. Easiest thing to understand. Okay. If you think this is right, that's what all this, what we're taking right here is the actual copyright government, is the actual copyright.gov website. This is the official terminology. You can read through this in your own time. Basically, if you made it, it's yours, right? If you can claim ownership of this, right? Original ownership of this is yours. Now, how do you take something that's subjective and claim ownership of it? Well, that's why this gets hard, right? That's my original idea. Okay. How? And that's what there's a lot of gray area in this. Okay. All right. So then you have a copyright, and then you need to register that. You need to let people know, right, that hey, this thing I came up with, it's mine. Okay. And so there's all these registration for the different types, right, of creative works that you're going to be doing. Okay. What I'm showing here is just some of the stuff that you make. You're going to look, we have people that do motion graphics, right? We have people who are going to make software and make websites and apps, right? People are going to do illustrations, jewelry, fabric, and architecture. Okay. And so the copyright on these are all different, right? But we need to understand some of this. So this is where you get to deep dive into all of this. Again, my lecture today is, why do you need to care? Okay. So there's going to be an overwhelming, yes, there's going to be an overwhelming amount of information. And all I'm trying to do today is get you to care about this stuff. Okay. All right, so that's registration. Okay. And what we're trying to say here is, once we have registration here, we're going to take a look at the searchable documentation. I'm going to skip around in my notes here. Here's some registration. All right, so I'm going to come in here and give me a name that should be copyrighted. Something that you would obviously like, duh, of course that's copyrighted, Colin. Why not?
Microsoft, that's already copyrighted.
Microsoft, right? We sure about that? We absolutely positive that Microsoft is copyrighted? Colin, really? Yeah, go check it. Just make sure that it is. Okay, make sure that's there. All right, now give me something that you think is not copyrighted, that doesn't have that C asterisk symbol, that copyright symbol next to it.
Flower.
Flower, like that. Good. Bobby, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's gonna go. All right, now we got flower, flower dot, all caps flower with the dot, all lower caps without the dot and with the dot. And these are the people that own it. And some of the stuff you cannot copyright. Okay. One of the things you cannot copyright is color. You can't copyright a color, and what you can't copyright is a long list of stuff, right? But close your eyes for a second. There is a company that wants to copyright color. So close your eyes for a second. This is where I have issue with these people. Please open your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Now open your eyes. Pantone. They want to copyright a color. They've been trying. I'm being recorded right now. I'm on record saying, no, I don't think you should copyright a color. They're fighting it. They're like,
Wait,
no. We came up with a color of the year. We're going to copyright it. So
I thought you could copyright colors.
you can't own it. You can't copyright a color. We'll get into
Can you
that.
copyright the name of a color?
No, you can have a color associated with a brand.
Because like,
Copyright.
I'm sorry if I digress, but like I remember there was like a legal issue between like this like super black color that someone made, and like no one else was allowed to use it.
Vanta Black. Vanta Black is
That's proprietary.
it's a material. It's not the color, it's the material. You can't copyright a color.
All right.
You can do, right? So, but they want to, every year Pantone has their color of the year, and they go, right, Pantone is in the business of selling you color swatches. They want to copyright this. These things aren't cheap, y'all. Like, I see them flying around the labs. I'm like, can we take better care of this stuff? This stuff is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. They make a ton of money, right? Let's take better care of it. 1, 2, right? Can't copyright color. All right, so we're gonna get a long discussion about things we cannot copyright. Okay. All right, so flower is all there. Anybody got anything else before we move on? I'm not typing my name. Uh-oh. All right, so if I want Colin, all lowercase, right? Colin is owned by whoever this is. Okay, there's the copyright number right over here. Okay, so this is the database that you can look at. You can see the extent at which people should be copywriting stuff. So once you have a copyright, like I made this thing, right? I need to register it, right? Because you can't just say I own it. You got to register it. And registration isn't forever. Okay, and we're going to talk about when things go into public domain. Registration is not forever. Okay, registration has a limitation. And then once you copyright something, you can license it. Now, what I'm doing is giving you the abridged TLDR call-in version of this stuff. Okay, and a copyright lawyer right now is looking at my lecture saying, what about this? And what about that? And I said, this is where I start losing you. I'm like, down at the bottom is just stuff we think about, right? What is it? Who owns it? And for how long? And that's all I need you to ask yourself. What is it? A typeface. Who owns it? Me. How long? Right? And part of that how long is, well, maybe I want it to be used. And so when people license stuff, just like you don't own your operating system, you don't own Windows, you don't own Mac OS, right? You're leasing it. You're licensing it from Apple, from Microsoft. Okay. And that's what a license is. And so we get into this, okay? And so we will talk about this, okay? There are lots of different licenses, too many to address in this lecture. And a license basically says what you can and can't do with stuff. That's the short version. What can you not do with the things that you find? So you found this picture on Google, and you added it to your school paper. Are you violating copyright? Right? Or did you cite the source? Are you claiming ownership of it? Okay. And all of these are things that we just need to pause and ask ourselves as designers, right? Colin, what's the TLDR to this? Why is this one so negative today? Because I don't want you to put yourself or a client into a legal situation because you didn't do your job as a designer, as a professional designer, and say, well, do I own this? And do I have the right to use it? And if I do have the right to use it, for how long and in what ways? And those are the questions I need you to ask, right? This is my TLDR version of this. Okay. So you have basically a few options here. Now, do you have more than the 3 options? Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make here. Lots and lots, right? First one is get a copyright lawyer and don't think about this. Okay. Step 2 is watch this copyright for creatives. Okay, about protecting your work. Okay, you can download the exercise files here, and they're all legal forms, right? Cease and desist letters, what to do if your copyright is violated, right? And Von Glitchka has made a very good course because he's had his work stolen many times, right? He has designed, illustrations and different things, and a lot of people have infringed on his copyright, right? But this becomes almost like a legal course, and that's not where we're going with this. So option A, get a lawyer. Okay. Option B, open it up. Okay. For lack of time, we're not going to, maybe, let me stop sharing for a second here. I'm going to share this with computer sound. Okay. All right. So your second option is just to open it up, have a shared attribution license. Okay. You see the Creative Commons license quite a bit. Like, Creative Commons license is great. Okay. Basically, share and share alike. You still own it. You're still the original creator of it, but you're saying other people can use it, right? But you're not profiting from it.
When you share your creativity, you're enabling people anywhere to use it, learn from it, and the artist who builds beauty out of bits and pieces she finds online, and the writer whose stories use ideas and images crafted by people he's never even met. These people know that when you share your creative wealth, you can accomplish great things. They and millions of other people all around the planet are working together to build a richer, better, more vibrant culture using Creative Commons. To understand Creative Commons, you need to know a little bit about how copyright works. Did you know that when you create something, anything, from a photograph to a song, to a drawing, to a film, to a story, you automatically own an all rights reserved copyright to that creativity? It's true. Copyright protects your creativity against uses you don't consent to. But sometimes full copyright is too restrictive. What about when you want all those millions and millions of people out there to use your work without the hassle of coming to you for permission? What if you want your work to be freely shared, reused, and built upon by the rest of the world? Luckily, there's an answer. Creative Commons. We provide free copyright licenses you can use to tell people exactly which parts of your copyright you're happy to give to the public. It's easy. It only takes a minute, and it's totally free. Just come to our website and answer a few quick questions like, will you allow commercial uses of your work? And will you allow your work to be modified? Based on your answers, we'll give you a license that clearly communicates what people can and can't do with your creativity. You don't give up your copyright. You refine it so it works better for you. Welcome to a new world where collaboration rules. It didn't even exist just a few years ago, but now there are millions and millions of songs, pictures, videos, and written works available to share, reuse, and remix, all for free. Want to work together? Then join the Commons. Creative Commons.
Right. So this is a common license for creators, right? For people who make stuff. Okay. And so this is one of the license options that I need you to be aware of. You can look into it. You probably have used it quite a bit already. Okay. A lot of the stock resources, right? Use the Creative Commons license. Okay. You know, the stock sites, stock photos, stocks, like Unsplash is a popular one. You know, I think now that I think about it, Unsplash might be have their own license. Okay, and this is just part of the job, y'all. Let's see here. Where did they move it to? License. I think they have their own license. So if you don't want to make your own license or have your own license reviewed, okay, there you go, right? So they're just coming out and saying, hey, we're just giving it away. This makes it easy on their part. Okay. More precisely, Unsplash grants you, right, non-exclusive worldwide copyright license to download, copy, modify, and distribute, perform, and use photos on Unsplash for free, including commercial purposes. So you can use these images to make money, right? You can put your slogan on there and resell it. Good? Okay. Okay. Without permission for the attribution of photographer or Unsplash. Wow, they're just giving it away. They're just giving away these stock photos that I see everywhere, right? If you go to Unsplash, you have seen these photos, right? I'm gonna search for mountain, you have seen these photos, right? I'm gonna search for tree, you have seen these photos on people's sites. You're like, man, where is that tree just floating? I want to be that tree, by the way. There's a tree in Montana that sits on the hillside. It's my tree. Okay. Yes, the lily is a tree that in Montana just hangs out by itself in the middle of nowhere. And it's an awesome tree. It's right next to this forest of trees. I'm like, that is the most gangsta tree. Our family calls it the gangsta tree because it hangs out by itself. Side note. Good. All right. So there's Unsplash for you. Okay. All right. So option A, get a lawyer. Option B, sell it to everyone. All right. Find a way. Open it up to everyone. Option C, sell it. Go through those rights. All right. So the great Metaphysi, the people at Metaphysi, David DeSandro, I believe, could be wrong on this, he wants to sell logos, right? And let's see which ones are for sale now. You can even see which ones have been sold. Okay, for sale. And why I show you this is he sells these logos and he basically says, look, here is, right, once you give me $495, this is what's happened. This is what's going to happen, right? So you're going to give him $495 for this logo, right? You're going to give Metaphysi, his company, Metaphysi, $495. And this is what it means. Okay, so you get ownership. The subject of the purchase of the logo owns the copyright and intellectual property. That means it's yours. Okay, Metaphysi shall have a worldwide purchase exclusive royalty-free, subscribable, and transferable license to use and display the logo as part of its portfolio of merchandise. Colin, why are you reading that really fast? Why are you reading all that complicated stuff? Because I need you to start being able to do this. I understood what I just read. Do you?
That basically means you can still use it since you made it, right?
Get into that. Right? I'm smiling because this is what we need to get good at. And this becomes a really boring lecture if I talk about prohibitive use cases, indemnification, payment and taxes, miscellanea, right? Copyright assignments. Man, I'm going to lose an entire class of people. I'm already losing people right now. And this isn't even the boring stuff. Okay. Assignment is like, well, who is assigning this, right? Who gets the copyright? Because it didn't start with you. It started with Metaphysi. Okay. So these are all things that we just need to get used to reading. Designers, we need to get used to reading these things. Okay, I see this all the time, right? People go to Vecteezy or one of those other sites here. I think it's Vecteezy, or you go to Adobe Stock. Ooh, that's another one, right? Why am I showing you these resources? Because it's part of your exercise for this week. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit longer today because we have a lot to do. Trying to be fast here, right? People take stuff from Adobe Stock all the time and put it into their work. Right? Can you charge for that work? Right? Can you charge for tree from Adobe Stock? Can you put it into your poster? Can you put it into your illustration? Can you take this tree right here, modify it, and call this your own? Right. Now, if you're looking for me to say yes, no, what you can and can't do, I'm going to start charging you lawyer rates. Right. That's not what this lecture is about. I'm going to start charging you lawyer rates to understand copyright law. Right. What I want you to do is start asking these questions and start finding that being able to understand the answer. Okay. It's part of our review. Okay. Our exercise is that you have to design an easy 8.5 by 11 flyer. Super easy 8.5 by 11 flyer. And what you're going to be surprised by how much this 8.5 by 11 flyer is going to cost. Okay. All right. Yeah. Same thing here. People get stuff all the time because there's the free download button. Right. I freely downloaded this thing. I came into here. Okay. I went to the free license. Right. What does the free license actually say I can and can't do? And it's not the same. It's not the same for every single website. It's not the same for every single copyright owner. It's not the same. And what we're trying to do is just continue to keep asking these questions of who owns it for how long. Okay. So I talked about this in previous classes. Right. This would be kind of fast. All right, so how do you see the objective points through a very potentially offensive and subjective example? And I keep showing this example because it pushes the extremes around on these ideas. Right, it really pushes. All right. So yeah, I have to do this with my child in the room, but it's okay. All right. So we have the album cover. We're going to skip over that for just a second. This image right here. Right, this album cover was designed by, a graphic designer. What is his name? Oh shoot! All right, I'll have to find it. It's
Peter De Porter.
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, Kanye West is always finds like designers to do his album covers. So, all right, thank you, Patrick. So, Peter D.E. Porter, right? D.E.R. Porter. Yeah. Designed this cover, and this is a Kanye West family photo, so he owns that. Okay, this is a picture, right, from Instagram. So what this article is basically saying is, was the model paid for this photo? Because Kanye West has made money off of this album cover. He didn't give this album away for free, right? People have to pay for streaming on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere, Tidal or anywhere else to listen to this. People are paying money for that. If people were to buy this album outright, someone's making money off of this. Was the model paid for this picture? Kanye West this is his family photo. He's like, yeah, what am I gonna do? Pay myself?
Technically, wouldn't Instagram have the license to the photo because that's in their terms of service?
Bingo. Model was not paid for the photo. Was the photographer paid for the photo? Was the photographer paid for the photo? I'm just gonna stare at you blankly.
Because Instagram owns the photo.
Yeah, who owns the photo? What do the Instagram's rules say? If you upload stuff to our service, it's ours. We can resell it. Okay, so you're telling me the photographer wasn't paid, the model wasn't paid, everyone associated with the whoever owns the copyright of the picture was not paid for this. Right? They asked the model in that article, how much were you given for one of the most popular albums of the year for being on the cover? Well, I got promotion. She got promotion for it. And yes, that is worth something. It's worth a lot of some things, especially when you have a popular artist. But if I was the photographer on that and I had copyright on that picture, I would be very disappointed. I took a picture, I own this picture, and someone else is making money from it because I decided to upload it to a service where I gave away, right, copyright, and I didn't do licensing on this. Oh, designers, you just keep throwing your stuff up on Instagram and all those other services. Just keep throwing it up there. That's a different class. That's a different discussion, right? But I'm getting likes. Great. I hope those likes make you money. Because you know what you don't have to pay taxes on? Instagram likes. You don't have to pay any taxes on those. I promise you this. Okay, so then we get into, right, we good in this part? We okay to move on? Any questions? Okay, so then we get into, is parody okay? Okay, you see this quite a bit. Right, here's the cover, right? Colin, be more positive. Nope, it's what I'm good at. Okay, because I'm not being negative and positive. Those are subjective words. Subjective, subjective, subjective. All right, I'm talking about the objectivity of this stuff. And the objectivity stuff is not, this stuff is not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. Right? So now I'm going to go ahead and hit save image on this. I can upload a new photo of my own family and put it into here. Right? And now let's say I took this and I put this, right? And I put this on my website. All right? And my website happens to make money. Right? Can I be sued by Kanye West? Yeah. And so the question that I'm trying to bring up here is, there is a level of parody. There is a level where you can change something. Okay. All right. You know who we all know about? Okay. Some of you don't know about this guy. He's made an entire career of doing what? Parodying other people's music. Correct? He takes other people's songs. All right. Just show of hands. You know who Weird Al Yankovic is, so I can talk about it. Okay. Digital hand. All right. So does Weird Al have to pay people money for the songs that he's parodying? He sells albums. He gets paid. He goes to he has concerts all over the world, and people pay money to go see him. Okay. Right. The short version of this is yes. Right. He has to pay licensing rights. Okay. And how that breaks down and how much he gets to actually take home from parodying other people's songs is a completely different discussion that is outside the realm of my expertise. But for us, we need to understand how this stuff is related to us. Okay. So, right. He loves to parody other people's songs. What's it going to cost him? Okay. All right. So what that gets us into is right here. Okay. Okay. So what I need you to ask yourself is, we take a look at the top earning. Oh, this link is broken. I'll fix it here.
Is this just like random knowledge?
30 things the top earning songs of all time have in common. Where'd it go? Yeah, I gotta fix that link. Anyway, what I need you to ask yourself is, okay, pick a year. Pick a year. 2019, 2020.
2015.
Here, all right. This is what the link links to. It's like, basically Billboard puts out the top earning artists every year, right? Here, let's take that first one here. This is what? 2018. Okay. This comes out every year, like the top earning athletes, the top earning musicians, right? So how is this related to Weird Al? So Taylor Swift made close to $100 million. Okay. And what we need to see from all of this is, well, where does all that money actually coming from? Well, what I'm looking for right here is this word, the royalties. What does this keep coming up? Basically, this is a form of licensing, right? So when you're watching a commercial and there's a Bruno Mars song, Bruno Mars is like, yes, I just sat at home and made some money, right? Anytime you just randomly hear a Justin Timberlake song and it's like you're walking through a store, you're sitting in a restaurant, right? You're at a wedding. Yes, you know those wedding songs that no one pays for? They're supposed to. Why? Because the wedding DJ is charging to DJ a wedding, right? You're paying a DJ money to charge a wedding, and they play a Justin Timberlake song. Is the DJ paying Justin Timberlake royalties for that to play his song at the wedding? I hope so. Okay. High schools put on plays all the time, right? And they have to pay whoever owns the play, right? One second. What play did LC just put on?
No, they didn't do that.
Shrek. Oh, okay. So LC just did Shrek. Lewis and Clark High School. Lewis and Clark High School. Here, just did Shrek. Right? They just put on Shrek at their high school. And guess what they had to do? They had to pay royalties to use that play. Right? How much and to what extent? I don't know. I didn't read the licensing laws, right? I'm trying to find it. But yeah, they put on Shrek the play at Lewis and Clark. This is a public school in the state of Washington. Why should they have to pay money on it? Because they don't own Shrek. And the people who made Shrek or owned Disney is like, no. Okay. Good. Okay. So what we're looking at here is royalties. And royalties are another way to look at licensing. Okay. So they love royalties, right? Every time you hear a Chris Stapleton song, and he's like, I'm just sitting at home watching the money come in. This is one of the ways that a musician makes money. Okay. So by that note, how come all musicians aren't wealthy, just sitting at home? Why are they out touring? Okay. So these are all questions we need to start asking ourselves. All right, we're going a little bit fast here. I'm a little bit slow. All right. Happens many times. Okay. You see these articles quite a bit. Right. Frank Martinez, a Brooklyn lawyer, right? Basically, we're using they use this typeface. Okay, they get sued because right now, this is what's happening, right? Some designer on Harry Potter merchandise, and some designer, okay, you guys, right, decided to use this font on what else did they use it on? The NBC website. Designers design these things, right? We design screen credits, we design websites, and many other things. We just use this font. And the owner of the font basically said, no, wait, you don't own that. Oh, sorry, here he's a lawyer. And so now who's in trouble for this? Is it up to your employer for them to know whether or not you have the license to use a font? Whose responsibility is that? Someone type it, yell it out.
VR.
Yeah, welcome to being a professional. I don't want to be that designer. Slow, dramatic pause right there. I don't want to be that designer. You come in Monday morning, he's like, did you get clearance to use this font? And you look at your boss is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do we have the rights to use this font? What's a right? Did we license this font? I don't know what licensing is. Welcome to being a professional.
How do they know whether it was that's in that particular like instance? Like, how did they know that it wasn't licensed?
Oh, because whoever the font owner is like checks your licenses, right? I mean, all right, ready for this, everybody? Put up another browser, okay? Right? We all know jaywalking is illegal, and I'm not going to turn you in for jaywalking because that's not my job.
I'll turn myself.
I'm not a snitch. Y'all say snitch. I was going to say narc, but that's a different generation, right? So this is what we do in class. Okay, so Hoffler Fair Jones, okay, has this wonderful typeface called Whitney. Whitney is one of the most popular typefaces in the world. I love Whitney. Okay, I license Whitney, right? I pay 8F and J, right? $100 a year to use their stuff in different capacities. Okay. Right? We can come in here and we can find Whitney. And you all know Whitney. We're designers, Colin. We understand all this stuff already. Like, where are you going with this? Right? Well, some people don't feel that way. So we're going to go into fonts, find by name. Okay. We're going to go to Whitney. Okay. Okay, we're going to get these fonts. All right, you need to start yelling out how much is this going to cost us? One computer.
40,000.
500.
500. Anybody else?
What the hell is
Per
this?
month?
I hate monthly. God.
There you go. Right, and notice they vary depending on they vary depending on the variance of the fonts, or the typeface. Excuse me. Right, and for how long you're going to use them, and for what mediums you're going to use them. This gets complicated. Okay, long story short, you're paying thousands of dollars. Right, so if you go to any creative shop, they're like, yeah, don't take these typefaces that we have paid lots and lots and lots of money for. Right? Like, we have to say, oh wait, you're going to use it on the poster this month. Oh shoot, we can't use it on a billboard this next month. Because some of these licenses are only for a couple of months. It gets very, very complicated, right? And we need to be aware of how complicated these things can get. So what HF&J had done, right? Sorry, I'm calling them by their old name. And basically said, look, you can pay us, $100 a year. And to some of you, like, that's a lot. Okay. So as freelancers, as independent company owners, as one person shops, you're going to have to factor these into your prices. Who's paying for these typefaces? Because you want to use Whitney, because Whitney is awesome. Oh, Whitney is just wonderful. Right? Or you can do this, or you can do this instead. Ready? What am I doing right now, yo? What am I doing?
Finding a knockoff?
Nope. I'm showing you where someone is illegally distributing Whitney. There you go. I'm showing you where someone is illegally distributing Whitney. Hit the download button. There you go.
How do you find these? Like
I'm
not like not to download, but like how do they like find them to like prosecute people who are violating their copyright?
well, the same way like you ever go to play a YouTube video and they're like, sorry, this video has no sound, or this video is taken down because they violated copyright, right? We've all seen those videos. Same way they find anybody else, right? Popularity, right? They also might hire people to just scour the internet. Okay, this is their livelihood. Okay, so subjectively, you can feel however you want to feel about this, right? Objectively, right, we're looking at things that we don't have a right to use. We're looking at things we don't have a right to distribute. That's the objective points. Subjectively, you might like say like, subjectively, oh, $100 is a lot of money, right? Or, oh, $1,000 is a lot of money. That's all subjective. Right? Objectively, you're going to have to pay to use, right, premium typefaces. Right? And you're going to have to factor that into your project scope, right? And your budgeting and your billing and all those things. Are you buying it outright so you can use it on other projects? Or are you going to use it one time for one project? And these are all things that we need to think about, designers. Okay. Long story short, typeface piracy is a real problem. Okay. And right now, if your thought is, Colin, I'm a poor college student, right? All I'm saying is that's subjective. Sorry, right? What I'm trying to say is don't get into trouble by illegally downloading a typeface, right? And what I'm trying to say is do not throw your hands in the air and say, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just a college student, right? When you start charging for this, you have to become a professional. Okay. All right. So we good in that part? Okay. All right. So terms we need to know: assignment is a total transfer of copyrights, right? So if I made something, I'm giving you assignment. Here you go. Keep it. It's yours. Okay. Right. Part of this is something I bring up quite a bit. Colin, what do you think of my work? Right. And we discuss it for hours. Right. A good stuff. We'll discuss it for a long time. I was discussing a portfolio with a student for an hour and a half. Just to like, here are some ideas. Here are things you can do. Right. Now, if they use those ideas, well, I'm like, I mean, I don't care, right? I'm in the business of giving you all of my ideas. You can run with them, do what you want with them. Okay. When I was in school, I had to buy lottery tickets, and we would assign them to the undergrads. So in the grad class, we would give them lottery tickets, and we'd say, I'm going to give you this lottery ticket, and you can keep all of the winnings on this lottery ticket. In exchange, you cannot claim any ownership of the ideas we generate in class. And all the ideas that we generate in class go to a nonprofit. So that way no one can say, oh, I came up with the next Google. I came up with the next Craigslist, right? And my professor took it, right? And so we gave him a lottery ticket and says, if you have to take this class, you have to sign this contract and accept this lottery ticket. And what that does is that frees up everybody in the class to do work, right? So what is that old man story about? Assignment, right? That we're assigning the ownership of these ideas to a nonprofit, right? Fair use, right? We talked about it. What we can and can't change. Okay, copyrights have a 73 years, 76. You can look into this, right? So after some time, things go into public domain. Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. The happy birthday song was one of the most profitable songs of all time. The happy birthday song was one of the most profitable songs of all time. And it eventually went into public domain. And every time I hear someone sing the happy birthday song, I go, think about all the money they're losing out on because it's in public domain now. Okay. Someone made that and they go, well, I better get as much money off as I can before it goes in public domain. All right, here is something a company is fighting that should be in public domain. Close your eyes. All right, take a look at them. These people scare me. I'm on record right now being recorded saying I am afraid of Disney. I am definitely afraid of Disney and upsetting Disney. They own so much. And what Disney is basically saying, we know that Mickey Mouse was supposed to enter public domain because he's been around for more than 75 years. There's a number somewhere. But we're going to keep fighting this. So yeah, it's basically, Disney is basically suing the US government or challenging the US government every single year. So Disney can so Mickey Mouse can stay copyrighted, even though he should have entered public domain along with Moby Dick, David Copperfield, right? The Invisible Man, Ulysses, right? All these public domain images and books and videos. Okay. Popeye, Gulliver's Travels. Okay. These things belong to nobody. They belong to you. They belong to me. They belong to everybody. And that's what we're talking about here with the Creative Commons license. Is who is this going to belong to? All right, good. Hang in there. We got a few more minutes. Okay. Infringement on that copyright, different class. Okay. Is it protectable? Can you actually change that? All right. The last thing we're going to do is our copyright exercise. All right. So for next class, okay, we're not having a lecture. Okay, because you're going to be working on this. Normally in class, we do this in class together. I set an 1.5-hour timer and you make this thing. Okay, you're going to be taking the next class session and I'll still be here to walk you through this. Right, good. All right, you're going to make an 8.5 by 11 flyer. Okay, it's going to be in color. Okay, all right, just throw up, let me know that you're there. So all right, now's the part where you can start listening. Now pay attention. All right, so 8.5 by 11 color, right? You're going to calculate cost and track your time. Basically, if it's good, the Department of Design, right, is gonna, it's gonna do recruiting. Okay, and what you're gonna do is make a flyer for us. You're gonna tell us how much it should cost us to buy it from you. Okay, you're gonna pick one font, you're gonna pick one image, you're gonna pick one asset. That could be a vector, a texture, a brush, Adobe plugin, a Photoshop plugin, whatever. Okay, you're gonna come up with a slogan. Right, you're gonna export that to PDF. You're gonna pick any design tool that you want. Right, and I'm
placement only me.
For placement only means that we don't have a right to that image just yet. So if you have something that needs actual real money, right, you basically get a low res or watermarked version, right? Getty Images watermark. You've seen this quite a bit. Getty is another huge place. Okay, you will see this Getty. This is a for placement only. Right. It means someone can see what the image will be, right? But there's a huge watermark on it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. All right. And then you're going to find one font, one image, and one asset. Okay. 8.5 by 11. Okay. And so what I have the students do in just one class session is you got an 1.5 hours, go design. And some people get very, very frustrated. It's like, no, that's not enough time. It's like, no, you got to get this done. Right? Why am I limiting that constraints? Because I need you to start factoring in your time. So what you're going to do is pretend, right? Don't print anything. You're going to pretend we're going to run this flyer for a year. How much is it going to cost us? Okay. And if we need to print 1,000 copies, how much is that going to cost us? So if you use the MMC printing rates, okay, it is color is what? 25 cents per page, correct? If we have to print 1,000 copies, how much is that going to cost us? Okay. And so what we're going to do right here, printing costs, right, is you as a professional are practicing, right? How much is one little 8.5 by 11 flyer going to cost? And I love this exercise because you get a number that you will find a little bit shocking. Okay, so if you're going to spend 2 hours on this, if you're going to spend 20 hours on this, right, how much does that cost in terms of your time? How much is it going to cost us to use a font for 1 year? How much is it going to cost us to use an image for a year? How much is it going to cost us to use this asset that you downloaded for a year? How much is it going to cost us to print 1,000 copies? And then you add that all together. And for one 8.5 by 11 flyer, I can guarantee you now, it's probably more than what some of you put on your first invoice. And this is what we're practicing. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Thanks for going long on this one.
Colin, I have one more question about that. When you say